I'm currently editing an action film that I directed back in March, and I wanted to make this video, and there'll probably be other videos coming out soon, just about it because there was a lot of stuff that happened. It was anything but a normal production. And in this video, I wanted to talk about what it was like directing it, because I personally feel like I learned a lot from that experience. It was crazy, it was nuts, but I think I learned a couple of really important lessons, and I wanted to document that. I don't want to forget them, and maybe I can help out another beginning filmmaker as well. The toughest part about directing an action film was, it was my first time, so there was a lot of stuff I had to learn, a lot of stuff I had to get used to. But I think the main difficulty was just the thing itself. The main reason I wanted to make it was I wanted to show people fighting on screen. I have idols in action cinema. I wanted to make an action film, and that was, obviously precisely why it was so difficult. It is hard to make an action film. It is hard to do stunt and fight choreography. And in fact, I talked to a lot of students at Temple. I talked to a couple of professors. Most, if not all of them, told me I should not do it. This isn't really something that's done at Temple. I haven't really seen done before. And if it is, it's always sword play. That's kind of our specialty, I think. It's always been swords, which is really cool, but not what I wanted to go for. I wanted to go for something more gritty, more handheld, more knife. It's just, I guess, more gritty, I guess, is the approach I was looking for, and that's tough to do. So definitely, I was roaming into this unknown, and a lot of people told me no, and a lot of people told me it would be too dangerous. People told me I would get people hurt, and I would get the actors hurt. And quite frankly, it only made me want to do it more, to be honest. And from there, it was an uphill battle, but I was determined. There were some really difficult things to get the hang of, like learning learning who to get the right makeup from, how to make it look the best, hiding the mat from the frame. Just learning the basics of stunt choreo from the actors was a really thrilling experience. It was great, but there was a lot. There was a lot to pick up on really fast. We were in a tight deadline. My lead actor had to leave the country at the end of the semester, and we started this in February, so yeah, we really had to go. And so it was tough, but it was surprisingly not the biggest issue. It was not the biggest challenge at all. This was the most difficult thing I've ever had to direct, and it was not because of the fight. It was because of the insane drama. So long story short, the lead actors were really great at the choreo. They knew at the fight. They made it look awesome, but they didn't know what it took to make a film, really. And they didn't understand the formalities and the courtesy for a professional crew. And then my crew, namely my cinematographer and my producer, were amazing, passionate, hardworking, but they don't really understand what it takes for a good fight. And so you're probably already seeing the conflict here. You got two sides here that are already forming, and it was not fun to deal with, I'll tell you that. It was by far the most difficult thing because there was just no right answer. I don't want to have to take sides, Now the first day of shooting that we had, it was pretty light on the choreo. It was mainly just dialogue, and that was fine. That went splendid. I think it looks amazing. Now the second day, we had a lot more fighting to do, and that's when things just became a disaster. Because at that point, my crew didn't totally understand. My actors wanted specific inserts. We wanted specific shots, and they wanted, they had the vision. They wanted particular shots. My crew, they're doing their best, but they have to move fast. We have so many people that we're responsible for. We're not going to hold them until like 2 a.m. Right? If it was just me and my buddies, yeah, we'd do that. But this was a crew of over 12. Gosh, no, it must have been 14 people at a time, and that's a lot of responsibility. And you can't, you have to let them go at a certain point. And so we're operating on a tight schedule. We have to go. And so we're trying to make this right with the inserts, we're trying to capture everything, but it's not working because my crew, my cinematographer, my producer don't understand what they're trying to do, and then my actors don't understand the what's necessary for a professional crew and what they're trying to do. They're thinking, let's just go. It did not work out well. And the biggest mistake that happened was on me, because I saw both sides and I was trying to compromise with both. I didn't, both sides are equally valid, right? It makes sense. So I'm trying to compromise with both. And in doing so, I ended up compromising the safety on set. And it is by far my biggest regret with this film. Like, it's not, I don't even care about the shots when I was editing, how it came out. I regret the most was hurting my actors. And it may just be scrapes and bruises, but I think it matters a whole lot more than just physically, Like, I let that happen. I felt like I was trying to compromise, but in the end, what I did was rush so much, I didn't even have the mat at all, because I couldn't fit in the frame. And I didn't even take the time to try and put it there, and because I didn't think I had it. And maybe that's true, but I should never have gone ahead with it. Never. And I hurt them for that. And that is something I own up to. That was my fault. And that was my biggest regret with this film. Even though maybe the finished product can look amazing, it doesn't really matter when I know that I made such a grave mistake. And I don't know, it's really important to me. And that's just something to know for the future. Safety is everything, your team is everything. And that's absolutely one of the most important lessons, especially with an action film, and when you have such complicated choreo. Now, unfortunately, that was not the end of the drama. It, in fact, only got worse, because after that second day, there was an issue with the location. And the location, this was for the third day of shooting, the choreo that my actors had prepared for that location was very complex. They knew what they were doing, they were really excited to do it. But unfortunately, the day that the location was available for them, it was not available for my producers and, for my producer and my cinematographer. And so again, here we are. We have two sides again. I need to have my cinematographer and my producer there, but if this is the only day the location is available, then where are we going to do with the choreo that they worked so hard for, that they perfected for this location? And it's like, it's an impossible question. I don't really know what to do, because I'm torn, right? And I should never have to be torn between my cast and my crew. It's a team, right? Everyone's important. Everyone matters. I have to look out for everyone. It's my responsibility. But here I am in the position where I feel like I have to choose. And I feel like I've learned a lot about being a leader in the past, but this is a situation that was just, I truly did not know. I didn't know fully how to handle. And so what I ended up doing after lengthy discussion was, if the location was only available one day, we have a fourth day of shooting at another location with new choreo. And of course, the actors told me that that wouldn't be possible. The choreo is tailored to that specific location. It would be dangerous to do anything else, totally fair. But still, a fourth day of shooting with simplified choreo, with something really, really simple. And yes, that would hurt the performance, it would hurt the story, it would lose value. But I would have my whole crew there, and I would have everyone involved. And that was the best I could think of, right? At least I have one day to satisfy the actors, they get to do the choreo, and I have another day with my whole team to be there, everyone together, for a final day of shooting, so that everyone feels like the effort they put in didn't just get thrown out the window. No, like, you put in the effort, okay, now we can see it through with this final day of shooting. And I feel like that's just the courtesy, that's just the respect that they deserve. I personally feel like it's the team that matters. I care more about the team than I do the perfect completion of a project, right? Because the people are what matter. It's not, I don't know, I just feel like I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, I need to complete this at all costs, when I'm leaving people behind, right? That does not feel good, and I'm not gonna do that. And so this was the best compromise I could come up with. Impossible question, impossible situation, best I could do. And my actors got back to me, and they were saying, hey, we see that, but we're not okay with that. And here's an ultimatum. And the ultimatum was, we're gonna shoot that third day at the location that we wanted and nothing else. We're not gonna do a fourth day shooting, because if it's gonna look worse and you're gonna lose value, well, you're gonna end up using the footage from our third day anyway. Why would you even have the fourth day of shooting, right? They didn't understand the courtesy and the respect that I was trying to show the rest of the crew. And so, and that was that, right? There's nothing at that point, like there really is nothing I can do. At that point, I was put in a position that I shouldn't have to be put in, but I was. Where I did my best to compromise, but still my hand was forced in a way to choose the actor side because I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't recast. It wasn't a drama I could recast the lead, which would still be difficult. But this was, I mean, truly so specific. I couldn't do anything. And yet still I feel like I chose a side. And I don't want to have to choose a side. And so that was the toughest part. That was the difficulty of it, of being a director, being put in that situation, feeling like I messed up. Because now I'm on the third day of shooting, without my producer, without my cinematographer. It doesn't look nearly as good. I'm trying to scramble everything together myself, and that's just not what I want to happen. Because one, it doesn't look as good, and two, I'm leaving people behind. I owe them something. It's a responsibility, right? I left people behind, and that is, and much like the safety before, it's like, yes, I may complete this film, and I'm very proud of it, and I feel like I learned a lot. But the most prevalent thought in my mind when I think of this film isn't the completion or how good it looks. It is my mistakes. It is of the safety. It is of leaving people behind. Because that's not what I want to do, and that's what I want to learn from, and I want to improve on. So I do not want to have to be put in this position again. I don't want anyone to be put in this position. This is insane. I think the most important thing, like just from this whole crazy situation, isn't to prove that I did the right thing, or like, oh, here's which side that I should have taken, or my compromise was the best thing. No. The truth is, none of this should have ever happened had things been planned better, right? I mean, that's the truth. Because, like, yes, things went wrong. There was tensions that I couldn't prevent, but if I had more time, and if I planned better, if I planned the shots out better, then I wouldn't have been as stressed. We wouldn't have to rush as much. If I planned out better, I would have been able to understand when the location that we were choreographing for would be available. If earlier on, when at the point where maybe I could have changed it and it was a bit more flexible, not the week, or I think it was either 2 or 1 week away from the shoot. That's putting myself in the position where there's no right choice, where it's just impossible to make the right decision. And at the end of the day, I think it's just about not letting it come to that, not letting myself get in a position where I have to make that choice, where I have to feel like I'm stuck, like I can't make a right choice, like I have to pick sides, like I have to leave people behind and compromise on safety. I truly think that if I just planned better and I'd taken more time, I think this would have been avoided. And I was hustling. I was going the fastest I can, right? But even then, it wasn't enough. And I think it's just important to document and just learn from the consequences of that, because I never in a million years would have thought the consequences would be this bad. Like, this drama and this craziness is not what I at all expected from this film, from this production. But that's the consequences when you don't plan enough and you don't have the right, if you don't plan enough, you're planning for failure, right? And if I don't set myself up properly as a leader, then I can't lead on set then. If I don't prepare myself and I don't set up, I have the necessary setup, right? Because it's not just a project. I've done that, we've all done that. But I want this to be more than, I want this to be an investment of your time and your energy and your passion for this art form. And I don't know, that's what's important to me. And I want to prioritize my team. And honestly, maybe this film wasn't the fit for a professional crew, and that's okay. I'm fine to admit that. Like, maybe none of this crazy stuff would have happened if it had just been me with my friends, right? Because then I would have the flexibility to change things, right? And I wouldn't have so much responsibility for the people that I'm working with, right? Because it wouldn't be a large crew, it'd just be friends. I don't know, I guess in a way I feel like this is when the student film overlaps with like a professional film, and I'm just noticing like those two worlds and the differences and kind of where each one lies. Because I don't know, I kind of see this film, I feel like this film could have gone either way. And I'm still so happy that I chose to have a full crew, because I want that challenge, and I think it's a beautiful thing to have everyone working together. It didn't turn out the way I fully wanted to, but I am still really proud of the work that everyone put into it. There were so many talented people on this film that helped out, and throughout the craziness, they stuck through it, and I could not be more grateful for that. So thank you to everyone who worked on it. This was one hell of a production. It has been insane. Thank you to everyone who stayed around to listen to me rant about this production. It was a wonderful experience. I couldn't be more happy and proud with it, and proud of everyone of the amazing effort they put into this, the hard work. There's so many people involved in this film. I have regrets with this, and I will learn from them, and I will not let them happen again. And that's what I'm most proud of, as well as the amazing effort that all my friends, all of the amazing talented people that I got to know on this film put into it. That team, that's the most beautiful thing. And I couldn't be more happy and grateful for the team I had for this film. So, I hope maybe you learned something. This might have been helpful for another filmmaker out there. I don't know. At least for me, I know this is gonna help me not forget what happened here, because this film may be completed, but I don't wanna forget the lessons that I learned.